Hi, I'm Heather Markel with Culture Transition Coaching, and I'm back with the second in a series of video tips on how to start a new business. So, I hope since our last get-together that you have a long list of ideas and concepts. Ideally, you came up with a few different business ideas because the likelihood is that as you go through this process, you'll come to see that some of the ideas are better than others, and some will work, some might not work. So it's always good to have a few ideas. So looking at your top idea, and if you did come up with a bunch, just rank them, maybe the top 5 in order of preference of doing them. So as you go through the process, you start with your favorite and you work down the list and see what makes sense. So after you've got your idea in hand, the next step is to think about what experience do you bring to the problem that you're going to solve. And last time we looked at what jobs that you had, but in this instance I'm looking at, in addition to your jobs, what education do you have and what life experience might you have that will help you to help the people that you're in business to help. And for myself, for example, obviously I have a bachelor's degree. I had, in my personal life, lived overseas, but also worked with expats, so I have that experience as well. And the other thing to look at is, what experience do you not have? What are you missing that you might need to learn about? So you can find that out by asking. Remember I talked about your extended network that can help you. You can start asking questions. You know, what kinds of things do you need to know that you don't know? What is it that you don't know? For example, when I started in the expat coaching, I had really very little experience with internet marketing, so I started studying it. And so I started out with nothing, basically a little website, and now I have an extensive amount of websites, a blog, all kinds of social media in place. So that was a learning that I needed for my business. But what do you need for yours? What kind of qualifications do you have, and what qualifications are you missing? So think about that. Okay, next, who's your competition? Because, you know, most likely, no matter what your idea is, somebody else out there is already doing it. So get in touch with who are those people, what are they doing. You know, you don't want to completely copy anyone, but you want to have an idea of what's working for some other people that you can be aware of for your own business. And also, how are you going to distinguish yourself from your competition? So there's sort of the idea of a niche, which is being an expert in a specific area. But even within that niche, you want to get more niched. So for example, I'm an expat coach. There are many of us out there. But what I've done is, in addition to working generically with expats and accompanying spouses that may go all over the world, I've also put together a program for people that are moving specifically to New York, because within my niche, that's another deeper level of expertise that I can bring help and assistance with. So that also distinguishes me from a lot of my competition. So what can you do in that vein? What expertise do you have that make you not only great to create the business that you're thinking about, but go even further, and how can you make yourself differentiated even further from your competition? Finally, you want to think about where is there a market? Is there a market and a need for whatever service you're thinking about, and can they afford you? And within that is also a level of getting used to charging for your services, being comfortable with that, and pricing. So, you know, in this video series, I'm not going to be able to go through everything, but I wanted to give you the foundation steps. And of course, any time that you need further coaching, I'm happy to work with you. But looking at the idea of is there a market? So let's take the example that I brought up last week, is people come to you all the time to ask for help with Word documents. So you realize that you should go into business, because you're good with the computer, helping people to write Word documents. So where are these people? Well, maybe they're in businesses. So can you just walk into a local business and go ask and do a workshop? I don't know. These are the questions you need to think about. Do they gather at seminars? What newspapers do they read? Where do they congregate? So find these questions out. And if you can't answer those questions, that may imply that there isn't a market for whatever business that you've come up with on the top of your list, and you want to move to item 2. Then there's, can they afford you? So maybe you've picked the starving artist, and that's great. great group of people, but if they can't afford your services, then either you're looking at doing volunteer work, which is wonderful, or if you want to make income, then probably that's not a target market that you're going to be able to, if you can find them, they won't be able to afford you, and therefore probably not a logical choice for your business. So that completes lesson 2. So again, hopefully by now, in terms of getting to next week, you will have, again, come up with many different business ideas, or at least a few. And then through step 2, started to identify what makes you unique, what experience that you bring specifically to this role, and then identifying whether there's really a need for that specific business and that service. So we'll build on that again next week in step 3, but until then, this is Heather Markel with Culture Transition Coaching.